So in this short video, I'm going to show you a simple and easy way to create a query which obtains some information from a table, but where the query asks the user for an input parameter before it runs the query. As an example, you see on screen here, I've got a query called query guests from country. When I double click on that query, I get a pop-up box which asks me to enter the country. If I type in, say, Australia, and then click on enter, it runs the query and it filters this field here, address 3, so that only those addresses which are in the country Australia are returned from the query. Let's close that down, and instead this time we'll rerun the query and we'll put in the country of Germany. And this time I get a different set of results. This time they're filtered so that the address 3 field only contains a country, which is Germany. So in this video, I'll show you how to build queries like this that ask for an input parameter. So in front of me, I've just opened up a database that I had hanging around. I forget what this database was used for. It was called a hotel database, and it has various tables in that database that we can see on the left over here. Now what we're going to do is we're just going to take one of those tables. We're going to say create query using design view, so query design. We're going to select the guest table. We're going to add that to our list of tables for the query. Then what we want to do is we want to print out all information from the guest table, and we want to do it based upon address 3. And if we just open up this table, we can see that address 3 has the country where that guest lives. So let's say we don't want to show guest 3, it's already been showed in the first column of the query output, but we want the criteria to meet a specific parameter that we're going to input. Now, how do we do that? We say equals square brackets, enter country. Okay. Then we're going to click on the design tab, and on the design tab, we're going to click on the parameters button, and we're going to specify that the parameter enter country is of type short text. Okay, we'll click on OK. We're just going to save that query. We're going to give it a name, query guests from country. We're then going to run that query just by clicking on the run button. When we do that, we get a pop-up box asking us to enter the parameter value for the country. So we'll say Australia. Click on enter, and then once we do that, we get all of the guests from the guest table that have an address 3 which is in Australia. Okay, so that's how the query works, that's how it gets parameters. So as a second example, let's just close down that table and let's look at the room type table. We can see the room type has a price 1, which is a given value. And we'll use a second parameter query just to filter this for price 1 being below a specific value. So let's go back to create query design. Let's say table room type. We're going to add that table to our query set of tables. And this time we want to print out the room type, the description, and we want price 1. And we want this such that price 1 is less than input price. That's the parameter that we're going to specify. We click on the parameters button and we want to specify that input price is let's say it's a currency. We click on OK. We're going to save that query and we're going to call it query rooms below price. Then let's try running that query. When we run it, it asks us for an input price, let's say 150. Click on OK, and it gives us all of those rooms that are below the price of $150. Perfect. Now let's go back to design view, and we want to try running this time with a string input. So let's say test. Then we click on enter, and we can see the value that we've entered isn't valid for this field. And the reason that has come up, the reason we get that pop-up, is because we use the parameters button up at the top here, and we specified the parameter name and the parameter type. Because we've specified those, Microsoft Access will do some checking on the input parameters. So that is how you create a query that requests parameters from the user, and also how you specify the type that parameter should be.